Snape looking down, still in Snape character, kind of.
I wish there was a blooper reel with Alan Rickman having to play Snape in.
So I know we've talked about TGIF before.
Sure.
Our childhood core memories.
Friday night, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, the days when I'd come home and we'll be right back with TGIF after these messages, and then the credits come on and I'm crying because I missed it. The good old days when that was like the worst thing that happened in your day was you missed a TV show.
Didn't it start? Well, for us, it started at 8. So we were home and settled in. It was 8 to 10 for us.
Was it 8 or 7? Yeah, probably.
Well, I'm East Coast, right? So yeah, I think it was 8 to 10 for us.
Yeah. So let's just say the most. Well, let's not even go to that. What was your go-to when you watched TGIF? Maybe your most favorite episode, but maybe also.
Man, that's
I can't
difficult.
remember the exact lineups, but if you were to turn it on right now, what is the lineup you'd want to see as well?
So I'm trying to see Family Matters, Steve Urkel, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Gotta
So that's
get
the
some-
reason why this got brought up. I was listening to Pod Meets World, Daniel Fishel, Will Friedle, Ryder Strong, Topanga,
Yeah.
Topanga, Eric, and Sean.
John, right? Yeah.
And they were reviewing an episode, I think like season 8. It's a Halloween episode. It's when Steve Urkel made the dummy. You remember that one? The dummy came to life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They were just having so much fun with it, and none of them have ever watched Family Matters. I was like, really? So that's what brought this to light. So yeah.
Family Matters was great.
Yeah. I'll let you continue now.
Yeah, Family Matters was great. Yeah, so you
That's
definitely.
your top. That's your top. Family Matters.
Well, I loved Family Matters, Boy Meets World. I had a huge crush on Topanga Lawrence. Obviously, she was beautiful.
Original.
Yeah, she was wonderful. And then Step by Step, right? I really liked Step by Step. I thought
Step by Step. I never. That's one of the ones I never watched.
Yeah, they had an episode, a core memory for me that kind of instilled an unnecessary phobia in me. Oh. One of the daughters, the blonde daughter, I can't remember any of the names, but she had a test or something due one day for school, and she's like, I can't go to school. Like, my stomach really hurts. And they're like, oh, you're just saying that because you whatever. So she goes to school, and it turns out that her appendix almost burst, right? Yeah. So the parents felt bad, that they didn't believe her. And then every time somebody, I don't remember how old I was, but every time somebody was like, oh, my stomach hurts, I'm like, you need to check your appendix. You need to make sure, right? You need to make sure. Good. And then if I had a stomach ache, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really don't want my appendix to burst, so yeah. Man. But that was a good show. I'm trying to remember. I can't really remember what the other shows on TGIF were.
It changed from time to time. I know there was an episode, probably the first book that we talked about TGIF and the lineup. I'm going to go with, my favorite part of TGIF. I don't think I could pick one, so I'm going to go with...
I know, it's so difficult.
My lineup would be Boy Meets World, Family Matters, and Sabrina. Those are like my top.
Oh, was
3.
Sabrina? Yeah, Sabrina was in... I loved Sabrina the Teenage Witch, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think it was... Was it Family Matters that had changed networks, and then they tried to put other stuff in there? That's what
I don't remember.
Yeah, but... Family Matters, man. I'll go back. I think last year I binge watched the whole season over a couple months period.
Oh, wow, yeah.
No, it's Steve Urkel, man.
Stefan.
he's such a good actor, man. Especially
Oh yeah.
in the episode they talked about today. Man, what's his name? Um
I keep wanting to say Kal-El, but I don't.
no. Julia White. Julia White.
Oh.
It was a Steve Urkel centered episode. I guess he had like a lot of he just had a lot to do during an episode, fighting around with the puppet and yeah, they were like, oh man, he's so brilliant, he's so good. And just the words he says when he gets flustered, like he just says some random word and they just lose it. And I'm like, yeah. Back in the day when the worst thing to happen on Friday was you missed TGIF.
You missed TGIF.
That's so good. Welcome back, witches, wizards, and muggles to Squibs Corner. I am Jeremiah.
And I'm Andrew. Today we're jumping into Chapter 7, The Boggart in the Wardrobe.
This is a fun episode. And when you texted me and said we might have a certain special guest, I was like, you know what? This is the perfect episode for that person. But alas, earwax.
She that was great. She's got a pack for a horse show, and my wife was like, you need to be in bed early tonight. You got to get up early tomorrow. You got to make sure because when they go to this horse show
for her. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have to be an early episode. It's just one of those in the morning my wife takes her and then she's there for 3 days. Yeah. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So she's just got a lot to prep for. So
I would have been come on now. It's only like an hour. Come on.
That was my thing. It's like, come on. Because I'm going to get home and guess what? She'll be awake.
Yeah.
She's a teenager. Right?
How'd the episode go? Great. You should have been there.
Yeah, it was awesome. We talked about you behind your back.
Does she listen to the podcast?
Yeah, they'll put it on YouTube and watch it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So they're visuals, huh? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so the Boggart in the Wardrobe, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. But let's recap Chapter 6, Talons and Tea Leaves. 2 major classes were highlighted. Obviously, our first class of divination. We meet Professor Sybil Trelawney, who has the touch of the vision, but I don't think as much sight as she thinks she has. And that was a very interesting class. Hermione doesn't buy into divination, but Trelawney read Harry's tea leaves and said, "Well,
Hermione doesn't buy into divination because she's very book based, on paper, right? So
yes, she's very analytic. Yeah, very analytical. And I tell a lot of people, like with chiropractic, right? I've got some chiropractic friends that are big into energy work, and and I'm like, cool, yeah, great, do whatever you want to, but I put my hands on the spine, I put my hands on the muscles, I test the joints, I need to, feel that. So
well, I'm a lot like Hermione too. Like, I'm not necessarily book smart, but at the same time, if something doesn't make sense to me, you cannot convince me that it does make sense.
Sure.
Just won't work.
So Trelawney reads Harry's tea leaves, and it's bad. Enemy, gonna be hurt, and the grim, the worst of the worst omens, the death omen.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I'm thinking ahead.
Yes. So, needless to say, it wasn't a great first class. And then they go to Cure Magical Creatures, Hagrid's first class. And they get
everybody finally figures out how to open up the book.
Open up the book. You just stroke the spine. And I don't even know if we said that last episode. I know we talked about it, but I don't even remember if we were
I think we did.
Yeah.
But in case we didn't.
Yeah, we talked about how everyone's books were bound in some fashion. But you grab the book and you stroke it by the spine, and then it will just kind of peacefully open for you.
Oh, how stupid of us.
Yes. And so, anyway, first lesson, hippogriffs. There's a dozen hippogriffs, which are these huge horse/bird, type creatures. And When you approach a hippogriff, you have to know they're very proud, so you don't insult them. You have to, meet them on their terms. You maintain eye contact. You bow. If they bow back, you're allowed to approach them. So Harry's the first one to do it. Hagrid even lets him fly with one, which Harry was like, that was unnecessary. Don't need to do that ever again. And then Draco, Crabbe, and Goyle, they go to Buckbeak, right? The hippogriff that Harry was riding. And Draco, who was not paying attention during the instructional portion of the class, insulted Buckbeak. And Buckbeak, using his 6-inch front talon, slashed Draco's arm.
And it's great. That's like a nod to another nod to J.K. Rowling's writing. I mean, she does not shy away from Draco's character. Like, oh, of course, this snobby. Like, if he didn't like him already, he's just gonna walk right up.
She's gonna play
and it's practical too. Like, there's that kid in the class that's gonna do what he's not supposed to do. So it works.
Thinks he's too good. Thinks Hagrid's not deserving of his attention, and he played around and he found out. So that brings us to the Boggart in the wardrobe, and we're going to start out with 7-word summary. You want to start us off? Jeremiah, you want to start us off with your 7-word summary?
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
All right.
So, Harry, no Voldemort or Dementors in class.
That's a good one. Okay.
That's okay.
All right. Mine is, okay, class, let's confront your deepest fears.
Okay, cool. We both went the same direction.
We both. I mean, we have to, right? Boggart?
Yeah.
In the wardrobe. So, moving on to our 7-chapter notables. This was kind of a fun one.
Yeah, this chapter's fun.
Yeah.
There's not too much of importance in this chapter.
Yeah.
A little bit, but not a lot.
Yeah. Number 1, I'm going to rename it to Snape's behavior towards Neville. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Number 2, what does Malfoy know? Number 3, where did Hermione go? Number 4, the Boggart. Number 5, Professor Snape. Number 6, Harry's biggest fear. Number 7, Lupin's biggest fear.
An orb.
Yeah. So first paragraph of chapter 7. Malfoy didn't reappear. Now remember, Malfoy got injured.
He's milking it for all it's worth.
Went to the hospital wing. Obviously, Madame Pomfrey can heal a cut, but he's playing it. He's milking it for everything he's got. So Malfoy didn't reappear in classes until late on Thursday morning when the Slytherins and Gryffindors were halfway through double potions. He swaggered into the dungeon, his right arm covered in bandages and bound up in a sling, acting, in Harry's opinion, as though he were the heroic survival of some dreadful battle.
Man, Draco really knows how to lay it on thick. I mean, Draco's the definition of lay it on thick. That's... I mean, like father, like son. Kids, man, with everything my son's got going on with his mental health and stuff, at some point you realize they are literal sponges. And when you think they're not paying attention, they're over there doing their own thing. They're listening to everything you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to be careful how I phrase things. If one of us, like my girlfriend's got back problems and a bunch of health problems, and if she says, oh, my legs are starting to go numb, Noah will go outside, he'll play, he'll come inside. Oh, my legs are starting to go numb.
Oh,
I'm like,
dang.
I was like, yeah, we really got to censor ourselves around him now.
Jeez, yeah. Poor buddy.
Yeah. He's doing good, though. He's doing really good.
Good.
So, that opening paragraph tells you everything you need to know about Draco Malfoy. And, well, of course, since it's Snape's class, there was no punishment for Harry. Or for Malfoy.
Yeah.
To make matters worse, Malfoy pretends to be too injured to work on the shrinking potion, and Snape tells Ron to prepare all of Malfoy's ingredients. Now, I'd like to point out, Snape walked into the classroom and said, "Okay, everybody, calm down, quiet down, sit down." And Harry and Ron were like, "No, if that were us, he would have taken points away from us, gave us detention."
Yeah. But it's
he
Malfoy.
does have... He does have a strong like inclination towards Draco Malfoy, though. Never really understood the reasoning for that.
Really?
I mean, maybe because of Harry Potter, but other than that, yeah.
You don't know the theory?
No. Oh, are we?
Should I tell the theory right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see if I got a
Bloody hell!
tell the theory.
Okay, so there are things about Snape that we do not know right now in this book.
Yeah.
We don't know book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, book 5, book 6.
So this is going to be a spoiler alert then.
Right, this is a huge spoiler alert if you've never read the books or watched the movies.
Maybe we should wait. If it's
okay.
It sounds like it might give a lot away.
I'll tell you when we're done.
Right.
Remind me to tell you the theory. It's a brilliant theory. Yeah.
I've never heard any theories about that. So yeah.
Well, this one. Fun fact: this is my own theory. I've shared a lot of theories. Maybe some that I think, but this is my own theory.
Listeners, do you want to know? That's too bad. You're not going to know. We're going to talk about it after the episode's over.
You get to hear the theory in a few years.
So, unfortunately, Ron, he did not cut Malfoy's roots correctly. So, Snape makes Ron use the poorly prepared roots, and he has to give Draco the finely cut roots that he had been working on. All the while, Draco Malfoy is smirking. And I like how the book says Ron had worked on it for a quarter of an hour.
For a quarter of an hour.
That's not very long.
He
didn't work on it for very long.
Well, not only did he work on it for 15 minutes, now he's got to stop what he's doing to get his stuff right to do Malfoy's. Right? Like Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I would have done the same thing.
Oh, I would have.
I would have been put in the same situation. So, yeah. Now Snape makes Malfoy's just...
Oh, Malfoy is loving it.
Mr. Snape, I need help cutting my... What is it called? Shrivel fig. So,
The shrivel
Snape,
fig, yeah.
Potter, help Malfoy cut his shrivel fig, sneering at him like he always does. While getting away with his little act, he tells Harry and Ron that Hagrid won't be around much longer. Father has complained to the school governors and the Ministry of Magic. Since his father has a lot of influence, Hagrid is as good as gone. As Malfoy tells Ron to slice his caterpillars, there was trouble brewing elsewhere in the class.
I tell you, these potion ingredients, roots,
caterpillars,
shrivel figs, caterpillars.
I'd be like, you want me to put this caterpillar in a potion? I don't want to kill the caterpillar. Is there something else I could do?
Yeah. So, yeah, Harry and Ron are having to put their stuff aside and do Malfoy's work. And while this is all going on, now they're like, oh my gosh, Malfoy's doing this act to try to get Hagrid fired. And that just...
And Snape has to know it's an act. Snape, he knows.
Absolutely.
But now he has an excuse to bully them. So.
Yep. So while this is going on, the shrinking potion that they're working on is supposed to be a bright acid green. But as Snape is walking the classroom, he steps over to Neville's shrinking potion, which was orange. Chapter notable number 1, Snape's behavior towards Neville. Orange, Longbottom, Snape said, ladling some up and allowing it to splash back into the cauldron so that everyone could see. Orange? Tell me, boy, does anything penetrate that thick skull of yours? Didn't you hear me say quite clearly that only one rat spleen was needed? Didn't I state plainly that a dash of leech juice would suffice? What do I have to do to make you understand, Longbottom? Neville had to stop himself from crying. When Hermione volunteered to help Neville, Snape humiliated her as well. I didn't ask you to show off, Granger. Then Snape told Neville, here's the kicker, at the end of the class they were going to test his potion on his toad, Trevor, to see if it works. Walks away. Neville's left feeling mortified and quietly begged Hermione for help.
Her writing is just so relatable because I could see me being Neville in this situation, like messing up the potion. Now Snape's gonna walk over and just completely embarrass me.
Sure.
And his toad Trevor, if anything happened to his toad Trevor, his gran would not be happy.
Yeah.
And he loses that thing all the time, and I'm surprised he still has him in year 3.
That's true. That's true.
But the way Snape's just kind of going in on Neville, just
Yeah.
almost like out of the blue. Like Snape's just having a field day. Like Malfoy came in, he said, all right, we're going to play this game. Snape's like, yeah, let's do this.
Which his behavior towards Neville is part of the theory that I will be speaking with you about.
Well, let's see if I remember.
Post haste.
Jay, chances are I'm not going to remember. And everybody listening won't be left out. So we'll see. And if I do remember, he tells me the theory, I'm going to make sure that the pre-show chatter next episode was like, yeah, he told me.
Now, here's what we'll do. After we're done with this episode, we will record another mini episode of me telling Jeremiah the theory.
Okay.
And we're going to put a spoiler alert on it. If you've not read the books, if you've not watched the movies, do not listen to it. But if you have read the books, if you have watched the movies, then jump on it. So we'll do a little mini episode after this.
Good idea. I like that. So, after Snape moved away from Neville, Seamus tells Harry that the Daily Prophet reported that Sirius Black was spotted not too far from Hogwarts. He was spotted by a Muggle. But by the time the Ministry showed up, Black was gone. Malfoy was looking maliciously, chapter notable number 2, thinking of trying to catch Black single-handedly, Potter.
Yeah, that's right,
said Harry offhandedly. Malfoy's thin mouth was curving in a mean smile. Of course, if it was me, he said quietly, I'd have done something before now. I wouldn't be staying in the school like a good boy. I'd be out there looking for him.
What are you talking about, Malfoy?
Said Ron roughly. Don't you know, Potter? Breathed Malfoy, his pale eyes narrowed.
Know what?
Malfoy let out a low, sneering laugh. Maybe you'd rather not risk your neck, he said. Want to leave it to the Dementors, do you? But if it were me, I'd want revenge. I'd hunt him down myself.
What are you talking about?
Said Harry angrily. But before Malfoy can answer, Snape had everyone clean up and gather around to see Neville's potion in action. Clearly, Hermione's help was isn't that interesting?
You don't say.
Clearly, Hermione's help was a success. Trevor reverted back into a tadpole. And Snape took 5 points from Gryffindor for Hermione helping Neville.
Here's my question about the potion. If you shrink a frog, it shouldn't go back to a tadpole. That would be like an age reversing.
Smaller frog.
It would just be a smaller frog. Like if you
We're going to shrink your frog into a tadpole, but that's not a frog.
Like if you put the potion on a table, does it turn back into a tree or does it turn into just a smaller desk?
Oh
Like,
man, that'd be awesome. You just see
yeah,
a broken table and you just point your wand at it, or I guess you wouldn't point your wand at it, but you inject it with a potion and it turns back into a tree.
yeah. I'm like, what are
That'd be
we?
great.
Yeah, I don't get that. He didn't shrink. You reversed his age. Bottle that and sell it, good sir.
Yeah,
Come on, what are we doing here?
the fountain
So,
of the fountain of youth, the
yeah, this
potion
is
of youth,
yeah, yeah,
or the potion of transfiguration, or something like that. I don't
yeah.
know.
So potion ends on a happy yet distraught. You know, Snape's the worst, but Trevor's alive. So tiny victories. So as they leave potions, Ron was complaining that Snape took 5 points from Gryffindor. 5 points from Gryffindor because the potion was all right. Why didn't you lie, Hermione? You should have said Neville did it all by himself. When Hermione didn't answer, Harry and Ron looked back to find her, but she wasn't there, even though they had all left potions together. She was right behind them. So they stood there at the top of the stairs, watched the rest of the students pass by, and then they saw her panting coming up the stairs, holding her bag, tucking something down the front of her robes, which could have been a chapter notable.
Yeah.
When asked why she wasn't behind them anymore, she said, she had to go back and get something. Then she noticed that her bag had a torn seam, and Harry and Ron saw that she was carrying around a dozen textbooks. She said she'd been carrying all the books because she's taking a lot of classes. Ron points out, well, she only has Defense Against the Dark Arts this afternoon. She brushes it off, saying that she hopes there's something good for lunch. And Ron clearly thought that something was strange. This is kind of the first time. Remember, last chapter we saw that she had divination at 9 o'clock, Muggle studies at 9 o'clock, arithmancy at 9 o'clock, or ancient runes at 9 o'clock. I can't remember. And so she's like, don't worry about it. I got everything taken care of. But there were no signs that day that something was off. But now she was right behind them, and then she wasn't. So
Here's the more important question. What did she do with her book bag? She throw it away? Did she point her wand at it and say reparo? Because you know she knows that spell.
she's repairing that thing. She's probably going to do not an engorgement charm. What is she? What does she do to her purse later on?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. They did it
The
to the
old
Fort
magician.
Anglia. They do it to the tents. They do it to her bag. Yeah.
The old magician's trick, making something small look huge. So, we probably get to introduce one of the... I know we briefly talked about him last chapter, but it's probably one of the most beloved characters in Harry Potter. And his involvement is somewhat brief, if I'm not mistaken. Like, for as much as he's loved,
Well, and as big a part he plays,
yeah,
he doesn't have a ton, not really any in book 4, a little in book 4, book 5.
I think it's just how he
6.
carries himself.
Yeah, well, it's, he's always doing something that's not necessarily with the group. But yeah. He's an important character for sure.
Yes. Oh, yeah, there's a lot. He brings a lot to the table, honestly, when I stop and think about it, yeah. So Professor Lupin is the person we're talking about. He wasn't in the classroom when they got into class. It was a few moments before he entered. He was looking shabby, but was looking better than he had looked on the train, which they just chalked that up to. Looks like he's eaten a few good meals since then.
Sure, yeah.
And as every great teacher does, he told the students to put the books away and that they were going to have practical lessons.
I mean, Defense Against the Dark Arts, baby.
Well, I mean,
Practical lesson.
and they bring it up. They did have
They
one
did
practical
bring it
class
up.
in the attempted practical class, or yeah. It failed because
Miserably.
my guy Gilderoy Lockhart.
Your boy. Oh, Gildy. Celebrity is as celebrity does.
Remember that. So the class followed Lupin to the room. On the way, the class walked up on Peeves stuffing chewing gum in the lock of Filch's broom closet. And when Lupin asked him to remove it, Peeves declined. Lupin pulled out his wand and said, I want everybody to pay attention. What do you say? That this is a very useful spell. And Wadi-wasi? Wadi-wasi? Yeah. The chewing gum shot out of the lock straight into Peeves' nose. So, I'm going to look up real quick exactly what that spell's supposed to do.
Yeah, it's a good. So they're, Lupin says, okay, we're not gonna do books. We're gonna do a practical lesson. You're gonna follow me. So they follow him out of the room, and they meet Peeves, who I can't wait to see what Peeves is going to be like with the HBO series. So they meet Peeves, and Peeves is doing Peeves' thing, and he's putting gum in the lock of the broom cupboard. And Lupin's like, very calmly, I love how calm Lupin is. Take it out. And Peeves like, nah. So he calmly brings the wand out.
Yeah, it's great.
Points it, Wadawasi, points it at Peeves, and shot like a gun. That gum shot like out of a gun into Peeves' nostril.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It is a projectile spell.
And the class was obviously like, yes, that was awesome. Yeah.
So, after the gum shot straight back into Peeves' nose, when they got to the staff room, it was empty, save for Professor Snape. And they were about to begin. Snape got to his feet and strode past the class, his black robes billowing behind him. At the doorway, he turned on his heel and said, Possibly no one's warned you, Lupin. I cannot do Snape.
You can do it. I liked it.
But this class contains Neville Longbottom. I would advise you not to entrust him with anything difficult, unless Miss Granger is hissing instructions in his ear. Neville went scarlet. Harry glared at Snape. It was bad enough that he bullied Neville in his own class, let alone doing it in front of other teachers. Professor Lupin, this is one of his many great traits, had raised his eyebrows. I was hoping that Neville would assist me with the first stage of the operation, he said, and I'm sure he will perform it admirably. Neville's face went, if possible, even redder. Snape's lip curled, but he left, shutting the door with a snap.
What a baller move by Lupin.
Right? Yeah.
What a way to act. Like, at that moment, the entire... Because it sounds like this is just Gryffindors. This doesn't sound like it's a joint class, so it's just the Gryffindors. True. And so
it goes to show you like how you go about a situation with somebody, like your kid doing homework. If you encourage his homework, his or her homework, probably going to do good. If you're sitting down going, really? Yeah. 6 years and you still don't know how to do this? Yep.
So Lupin immediately wins over, if he hasn't already won over the class, by handling the Snape situation that way. And then, so Snape leaves, and Lupin leads them to a wardrobe that's over kind of in the corner of the staff room. And as they approached, the wardrobe started to move and bang against the wall, and some of the kids jumped back. So Lupin's like, oh, nothing to worry about, says it calmly. Right? Chapter notable number 4. There's a Boggart in there. Boggart, we learn.
I just like how casual. There's a Boggart in there.
There's a Boggart in there.
That's it. Nothing else to it.
So then we learn Boggarts like dark enclosed spaces. And this Boggart moved into the wardrobe yesterday. Professor Lupin got permission from the headmaster for the third years to practice with it. We learn that a Boggart is a shapeshifter. When it encounters a person, it will shift into whatever it thinks that person's greatest fear is, which means that while it's in the wardrobe, it has not yet assumed a form. And Lupin also says that no one knows what a Boggart looks like when it's alone.
What you got? What you got,
Two,
Andrew?
two-parter. Two-parter.
All right.
True or false? No one knows what a Boggart looks like when it's alone.
True?
False. Name the one wizard in the series that has seen a Boggart when it is alone.
Shot in the dark. I'm going to go with Molly.
Ooh, that's a good guess, but no.
0 for 2.
Man, I thought you had it there for a second, though. I thought you had it. I was excited.
Yeah, I wasn't.
I was not.
Answers, Andrew. Come out with them.
Mad Eye Moody.
That makes sense.
Mad Eye Moody. So, a couple years from now, book 5, Order of the Phoenix, they move into a location so that they can have meetings, and they have to clean it out. It's been abandoned for a long time, so there's a lot of different magical creatures in there, a lot of old magical relics and stuff. And Molly mentions that she thinks one of the desks has a Boggart in it. So Mad Eye Moody, with his magical eye, turns, looks through the wall, looks through the desk, and says, yeah, there's a Boggart in there. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That's another thing. If you don't really think about it,
it's not in the movies. That's not in the movies. I don't think.
Wow.
That is a book only thing. You're welcome. There are more pop quizzes in this chapter. I just want to let you know. I told you there would be, remember?
Hooray. Hufflepuff, you're losing points.
Because you were like, what does R.J. Lupin stand for?
So, I'm the representative for Hufflepuff, and I sincerely apologize to everybody. So, now Lupin continues to teach that when the Boggart is let out of the wardrobe, it will take the shape of each of their deepest fears. But that means that everyone can be prepared for the Boggart, because there are so many of them that the Boggart won't know what shape to assume. It's always best to have multiple people when dealing with a Boggart.
Very true.
Yeah, you said there'd be more. All right. Hufflepuffs, don't get mad at me. Get mad at him.
There's redemption in this question, I think.
Oh, yes.
It's always best to have multiple people when dealing with a Boggart. What character in the books does not follow this advice?
I would say it's always best to have multiple people. So are we talking about specifically this class?
In the books.
Molly.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
Same book, same scene.
Yep.
She goes on her own to deal with the Boggart, and we find out what her Boggart is.
Yes. So, the charm that repels a Boggart is simple, yet it requires force of mind. And I have something to say about this, too. Oh. You see, the thing that really finishes a Boggart is laughter. Is this a quote?
It is a quote. Is it?
Yeah. It's got quotation marks.
I don't know.
Well, the charm that repels the Boggart is simple, yet it requires force of mind. You see, the thing that really finishes a Boggart is laughter. What you need to do is force it to assume a shape that you find amusing. The charm to change the Boggart's form is Riddikulus. Now, magic, at least in Harry Potter, at least by Flitwick, the way you say the spell, move your wand, all that stuff, is very precise. Enunciation. This ridiculous Riddikulus. Which one is it?
That's a great question. And I don't think the enunciation truly matters.
It must not.
I think, so let's go back because I love that she puts this in here. The charm that repels a Boggart is simple, yet it requires force of mind. Okay?
It's hard to think of a happy thought when you're scared.
Well, and here's the thing. There are many spells that require focus, concentration. You look at apparition, disapparition. You look at accio. You look at, I wouldn't say Expelliarmus, but you look at
Harry's bread and butter.
I mean, you look at so many, the Patronus, right? There are things. So, I love because eventually they're going to get into nonverbal spells.
Yeah.
So it's almost like elementary school is saying it and wand movement because you can focus on the sound and focus on the movement. But then you get to this, like when we see Dumbledore do magic, it is effortless because he is of the people that we know, he is the wisest. He is the one that has the most powerful mind, and he can do such great magic. So I think it's one of those, like, right now, years 1 and years 2 and 3, and we're focused on the wand waving, which we kind of drop after book 1.
You teach from the beginning the proper way to do something.
The fundamentals.
As you grow up, you learn there's no one right way to do anything.
True. And, it's one of those, like, I love golf, right? I love golf. If you were to watch a beginner's golf video right now, it's going to talk about, okay, where to put your feet, your knees, your weight dispersion. Okay, this is how you grip the club. This is how it's going to give you step by step by step by step by step by step, right?
Yeah.
When I get up to hit a golf ball, I'm not thinking about any of that stuff anymore.
Yeah, no.
I get into the comfortable position, and then, you
figure out what works for you. It's like if I make furniture, they're like, oh yeah, where's your blueprints? I'm like, in my noggin.
Yeah.
I can't. If I write that stuff down, I'll look at it and get so confused. It's like math. I'm telling my son, hey, show your work. But in reality, if I'm doing math and I show my work, I'm most likely going to get confused. It's easier for me to look at it and figure it out in my head.
Yeah, it's just they get so good. So to answer your question, I can't pronounce it Riddikulus because it's spelled with a K, which is ridiculous. Right? So Riddikulus, like it's Q instead of Q. So Riddikulus.
Well, he does roll his R, right?
Yeah, and everything's kind of a Latinish derivation. Yeah. So yeah, but I think overall he nailed it. He's like, it's simple, but really in order to do this, it's force of mind.
It's all about the mindset.
Yeah. Which Dumbledore exemplifies.
Yeah. So the class practices the charm, and then Lupin calls Neville up to be the first person to attempt the charm on the Boggart. Boggart? I've always called it.
I call it a Boggart. Doesn't matter.
Well, it's just Riddikulus. Yeah.
Riddikulus and a Boggart.
Yeah, there's no one right way to say a word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell that to the people trying to learn English.
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Neville is scared out of his mind, walking up to Lupin and the wardrobe. Right, Neville, said Professor Lupin. First things first. What would you say is the thing that frightens you the most in the world? Neville's lips moved, but no noise came out. Didn't catch that? Neville, sorry, said Professor Lupin cheerfully. Neville looked around rather wildly, as though begging someone to help him. Hermione.
Yes.
Then he said, in barely more than a whisper, chapter notable number 5, Professor Snape.
Professor Snape.
Yeah,
This
I
man
think
was
a lot of
raised
people, yeah.
in the wizarding world. His parents.
Which I expected his answer to be his grandma. Like,
I expect.
that seems like the most obvious answer.
Yes, yeah. From what we know of Neville at this point, it would be. You'd think it'd be his grandmother.
Yeah.
Right. Super strict. What we know of Neville now.
Yeah.
What he had gone through for 13. What he lived through. In his 13 years, he could have said Bellatrix, right? He could have said Bellatrix.
That's a deep cut.
Right?
Oh,
He could have said Voldemort, right? He could have said his grandmother. He lived knowing.
Just go deep cut and then a deeper cut right after that.
I mean, here's the thing, though. I've told you this. I've read the books many times. And when you reread them, every time you reread them and you're like 13-year-old... He could have said insanity because he's seen the way that his parents, his biggest fear could be him with the same issues that his parents had, right? So many things, but rereading it and you're like, of all the things that he's been through, his biggest fear is one of his teachers.
You know what? With this new audio series coming out, I'm looking forward to listening to all of the books in their entirety.
I can't wait.
I can't remember the last time I listened to all of the books, and I really do need to get refreshed and everything. So
I listen to the books once a year.
Oh no!
Right,
it's been a couple years at this point because of the podcast, but before that, I'd listen to it. Oh God! Once a month. Yeah, maybe not so often, but quite a bit.
Yeah. So here's, it's already terrible enough that Lupin has to hear Neville say that his biggest fear is a teacher, and knowing now, up to this point, we don't know what Lupin knows of Snape, right? Up to this point, having read the books, you know what Lupin knows about Snape.
He does seem pretty familiar with the school. I mean, he met Peeves, and then he knew, like, oh, that's Filch's office, and I'm like,
well, and we have to assume that. Yeah, you assume that Lupin went to Hogwarts. You assume that every professor went to Hogwarts, right? Yeah. So
well, he did. So,
she builds the story so great. So Lupin has to hear this from Neville, and then Neville just confesses his deepest fear in front of everyone. And what do? They all laughed at him, man. And I'm like, I don't miss school. Like during this scene, it's like I don't miss school.
Well, even my son comes home and tells me some things. I'm like, you know what? Kids are mean, bro. Kids are mean.
Yeah. So here's my question before I go on. I wanted to ask this. It's not a pop quiz. 13-year-old Jeremiah stands in front of a Boggart. What is his deepest fear? I know exactly what my deepest fear was as a 13-year-old. Did you ever have the dream where you're at school and you're naked? Or you're not wearing pants? Or you're like,
that would be it, because at 13, man, I was jumping off of roofs. Kids, hey,
kids,
don't jump off a roof.
Children, don't do it.
I was real big into wrestling, so there's a pile of mulch down on the ground. I made a dummy out of pillows, full-size dummy. I'm doing swanton bombs, frog splashes. Yeah. I was swimming in the river where there was a current that could have taken me away while my mom and my stepdad were both at work. I didn't have any fear, so I would go with that one.
That's a 13-year-old. That's like, okay.
Oh, to be 13 and not have any fears. Just wait till you're 40, everybody. Almost everything's going to scare you.
Yeah. Especially now that you have social media and you hear about everything that's ever happened in the history of the world.
Oh, sometimes I'm sitting on social media and hearing something going on. I'm like, I got to put this up because this is actually starting to scare me.
New fear unlocked. Right? New fear unlocked. So Neville confesses that Professor Snape is his biggest fear. So Lupin, Professor Snape, Neville, I believe you live with your grandmother. Yes, said Neville nervously.
But I don't want the Boggart to turn into her either.
No, you misunderstand me, said Professor Lupin, now smiling. I wonder, could you tell us what sort of clothes your grandmother usually wears? Neville looked startled, but said,
Well, always the same hat. A tall one with a stuffed vulture on top. And a long dress. Green, normally. And sometimes a fox fur scarf.
And a handbag, prompted Professor Lupin.
A big red one.
Said Neville. Right then, said Professor Lupin. Can you picture those clothes very clearly, Neville? Can you see them in your mind's eye?
Yes,
Said Neville uncertainly, plainly wondering what was coming next. When the Boggart bursts out of this wardrobe, Neville, and sees you, it will assume the form of Professor Snape, said Lupin, and you will raise your wand, thus, and cry, Riddikulus, and concentrate hard on your mother's clothes. If all goes well, Professor Boggart Snape will be forced into that vulture hat and that green dress with the big red handbag.
and this is a scene that they did really good in the movies.
I thought
I can
so.
picture it in my head. It's like,
Yeah.
oh man, it even Snape looking down, still in Snape character, kind of disgusted and confused on what's going on, but completely in Snape character still. Oh.
I wish there was a blooper reel with Alan Rickman having to play Snape in the grandmother's clothes, because I know that man had a good time with it. I know he because the kids say they like Rickman loved to make the kids laugh and make the kids happy and stuff. So I could just see, he played it so perfectly.
He did. Then Lupin goes on to say that if Neville is successful, the Boggart is likely to shift his attention to another student. So they need to all be prepared and focused on their biggest fear and know how they could force it to look comical. Harry had to think hard about that. Which, yeah, I mean, he's been through a lot already in his first 2 years. He's been through a lot growing up. He's been told lies growing up.
Mm-hmm.
He's got, as far as he knows, 2 people trying to kill him.
Yeah. Yep.
He hates Snape. He despises Snape.
But I don't
So
think
Snape,
he's afraid
Snape could
of Snape.
easily be his...
I don't think he fears Snape.
He probably doesn't fear him. Just really
Yeah.
irritated with him. Yeah, he's got a lot going on. So
Yeah.
he had to think real hard about that. He wasn't sure what his biggest fear was. The obvious answer would be Voldemort, but Harry being Harry. Obviously, he thought, well, that's too easy. His biggest fear is Voldemort being returned to full strength, but he wasn't quite sure. How would you not be quite sure that you know 100% someone's trying to kill you, and you're like, I don't know if that's my biggest fear?
Well, he
That's
has
insane.
he has come out fine 3 times, right? So maybe it's his track
a little
record.
Cocky, a little cocky.
Yeah, I am the chosen one.
So before he could figure out how to make Voldemort look comical, chapter notable number 6, a horrible image came floating to the surface of his mind's eye. A rotting, glistening hand slithering back beneath a dark cloak, a long, rattling breath from an unseen mouth, then a cold so penetrating it felt like drowning. All this while Ron was muttering, "Take its legs off."
Take its legs off.
So great. Then Professor Lupin started, and Harry didn't have enough time to figure out what to make or how to make a Dementor look comical. So Lupin opened the door of the wardrobe, and Professor Snape stepped out. Ridiculous, squeaked Neville. There was a noise like a whip, crack, Snape stumbled, and he was wearing a long lace-trimmed dress and a towering hat topped with a moth-eaten vulture, and he was swinging a huge crimson handbag. There was a roar of laughter. The Boggart paused, confused, and Professor Lupin shouted, "Pavati, forward!"
I promised you were going to have pop quizzes.
You know
this
what?
episode.
The last episode, I think I realized there was no pop quizzes.
There was a pop quiz. You asked
Was
me.
there?
Oh, no.
No, I don't think the last
You
one.
asked me. Yeah. No.
So you're
Okay.
making up for it. All right.
Okay. Parvati forward. What was Parvati's
I knew it.
biggest fear?
I should know. I listened to the chapter twice, too. It's got to be something so simple.
It really is simple. It's descriptive in the book, but it's pretty simple.
Man, I forgot.
A blood-stained, bandaged mummy.
Yep, I would have never guessed that.
Okay, but now that you know that, follow-up question. When she says Riddikulus, what happens to the mummy?
It unravels?
The bandage unravels and it trips and its head rolls off.
Oh, there we go.
Who comes after Parvati?
That's a good question. It's not Ron. Ron already went. Lavender?
Ron has not gone yet. Lavender doesn't go.
Seamus.
Seamus. And what is Seamus's Boggart? His biggest fear?
Like a clown?
No.
I know one of their Boggarts turns into like a inflatable clown.
You're thinking of the movie where there's like a big Jack in the Box, not the book. The book only goes through a handful of them. So Seamus's is a
Something on
hag. It's a hag.
Okay.
And a hag, or the banshee. Sorry, it looks like a hag, but it's a banshee.
Okay,
It's the
I was like, oh,
banshee.
the banshee.
Yeah,
The
and she
elderly type.
screams, and then Riddikulus. What happens to the banshee?
I don't know. I'm not
Loses,
even gonna act like I know.
loses its voice. And then, there's a couple things that follow up. The Boggart turns into a rat chasing its tail, then a rattlesnake, then a single eyeball. And then we get Dean. Do you remember what Dean's biggest fear is?
No.
Dean's, I could imagine a 13-year-old. Dean's is a severed hand that walks like a crab independently, which, I remember reading that the first time and I was like, ugh, yeah.
Unless you're a fan of the Addams Family.
Yeah, and then you get the Addams Family, yeah. So, do you remember what happens when Dean says Riddikulus?
No.
The hand gets trapped in a mousetrap. And then Ron comes up. What is Ron's Boggart?
Spiders.
Spiders. Not just any spider. What kind of spider?
Acromantula?
A 6-foot tall spider, and it's clipping its pincers. Harry thinks that Ron is frozen still, but he does Riddikulus, and then what happens to the spider?
So if he's saying make his legs fall off, I'm assuming his legs came off. But I know in the movies, it's roller skates on his feet.
Yes. So in the book, the legs go off, and then it rolls around. The legs vanish. So now it's Harry.
So either way, it's still pretty scary. I mean,
Yeah.
with rollerblades, he can still come at you.
Just
Rolling
faster.
around, he might just stay there. Yeah.
So Ron's done. Ron is successful. Now it's Harry's turn. Harry raises his wand, but Professor Lupin jumps in front of him. The legless spider had vanished, and for a second, everyone looks wildly around to see where the Boggart has gone. Then chapter notable number 7, they saw a silvery white orb hanging in the air in front of Lupin, who says, Riddikulus, almost lazily. Then he had Neville come forward to finish off the Boggart. Snape was back, but Neville had more confidence this time. Neville charges forward, looking determined. "Riddikulus!" he shouted, and they had a split-second's view of Snape in his lacy dress before Neville let out a great "Ha!" of laughter, and the Boggart exploded, burst into 1,000 tiny wisps of smoke, and was gone.
Man, that's
Lupin,
crazy.
yeah.
My happy thought is Snape exploding. Jeez.
Well, the happy thought was Snape in a dress.
Yeah.
The laughter is what kills the Boggart.
That's crazy.
So, which is a funny little loophole, I'm not going to lie.
Which is a proper way for a Boggart to go out, but not a proper way for somebody else to go out.
Well, why don't you just there's a Boggart in the wardrobe. You know what? Let's stand around the wardrobe and tell jokes. Right? This again is like, it's a cool thing. It takes on your deepest fear, but you can kill it by laughter. Well, if we know that it's in that dark space, let's just tell a bunch of funny stories and just laugh. Let's not even.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Just a silly loophole. So, class is done. The Boggart has been extinguished. Lupin gives 5 points to every Gryffindor who was able to conquer the Boggart. 5 to Hermione and 5 to Harry for answering questions. And an extra 5 points to Neville because he had to deal with the Boggart twice. He then leaves them with homework, read the chapter on Boggarts, and summarize it. But Harry felt pretty bummed. He knew that Lupin deliberately stepped in front of him, and Harry didn't let Harry face the Boggart, and he didn't really know why. But all in all, everyone agreed that this was by far the best defense against the dark arts lesson that they ever had.
I have a question. So it is Lupin's first class giving Hagrid what a first class? Because Hagrid had a pretty intense first class. This, you make it comical, but you're dealing with a Boggart that seems very scary and intimidating. So it could potentially be dangerous, although the Boggart seems more like a figment of your imagination in some ways.
Well, and if you look at Hagrid's class,
There he is again, everybody. Andrew's eating during the podcast. Second episode in a row. This time I noticed.
I'm like Tony Stark in the movies. I'm always eating something. So when you look at the classes that we've been to thus far, Care of Magical Creatures, Divination, neither of those would, I would say, make you a great witch or wizard, right?
Well, now that you say that, they all the classes so far started out very intensely.
Well, and they're like, here's what we're going to do today. We're going to learn how to pet a hippogriff. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it don't sound bad.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't sound bad. Divination. We're going to read tea leaves.
Doesn't sound bad.
Okay. Defense against the dark arts. I'm going to teach you how to use your mind and do intentional magic with your wand to face what could potentially be a foe, right?
That sounds a little intimidating.
Right, and it's. I think everyone's like, here's the thing. It's one of those things where they accomplished something with the Boggart. They just did things in the other class, but they accomplished. That Neville proved to himself that, oh my gosh, I can do this under stress. Because they don't really say. Here's my question about the Boggarts. What happens if you can't do Riddikulus? What happens if you can't do that? Because this is defense against the dark arts. And so he's like, yeah, a Boggart is a good thing. We see Riddikulus, we see, the Pixies last time, red caps, different things. So if you think about a creature that wants to stay dark in a dark and enclosed space, and you come and try to force him out of that, to what end is the Boggart going to run away and try to find another space? Or is the Boggart going to say, it's either you or me?
I always imagine a Boggart having the same effects as a Dementor, but less successful, less.
Well, what does the Boggart do when it's a 6-foot tarantula?
It scares you. It's a mental thing.
Oh yeah, but it's a real thing. It's a tangible thing because even in later chapters, right? In later chapters, Harry trains with Lupin, with the Boggart. The Boggart becomes a Dementor, and Harry has the same effects from the Boggart Dementor that he does the actual Dementor, right? He passes out. He hears his mom screaming. He gets cold. He gets clammy. Lupin has to give him chocolates. So I believe that the Boggart is a dark creature, and that while Severus Snape might not come over and kill Neville because he's a teacher, the rattlesnake, the severed hand, the banshee, the spider, like I like. There's part of me that's like, oh, well, the Boggart is like, look, I was in this dark and close space. You came and interrupted that. And now my defense mechanism is to make sure that you never do that to me again.
Yeah, I think this is all heading towards we need to do a Squibbler on Boggarts.
Yeah, because remember, Lupin got Dumbledore's permission to do this.
Of course he did. Dumbledore's like, oh, yeah, sure, whatever you want to do. Yeah, cool.
Whatever. Harry's
let
there.
Harry just wander off multiple times. You're good.
You're teaching Harry this? Good. 500 points to Lupin.
Of course you can do that, Lupin. Why would you even ask?
Yeah, I think of all the classes, Defense Against the Dark Arts, Transfiguration, and Charms are going to be the fan favorites.
Oh, yeah,
because
they're the highlighted ones. So.
They're going to make you a better witch or wizard. I honestly don't think, when you think of, okay, how many wizards are doing charms versus how many wizards are like full-grown wizards. How many are doing charms and how many are doing potions?
Yeah.
Right? You're going to use your wand to do a lot more things than whipping up a potion. That you just go to Diagon Alley or you go to Hogsmeade.
Yeah, the potion is going to be like, hey, did you know Andrew's real good at potions? You should go to him if you.
Oh yeah. I'll just go. Yeah, I don't want to whip up that potion takes 3 weeks to do. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I'm going to call somebody to do it. So I think number one, this sets the tone for how awesome Lupin is, and it's a great dichotomy between Lupin and Snape in the storytelling. So good.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody, for sticking with us. If you're not following or you're not subscribed to us, then I don't know. I might have to perform a memory charm on you.
Hello.
Everything you just heard. I mean, if you want to keep your memories of everything, including TGIF, you might want to hit the follow button.
Yes.
And I would urge you to share with another Potter lover. And join us next time where we cover Chapter 8, Flight of the Fat Lady. Andrew, go ahead and sign us out. Get us out of here, man.
Do you get the feeling Hermione's not telling us something? Squibs Corner is hosted by Jeremiah Lobaugh and co-hosted by Andrew Beecham, myself. We would love to hear from you, so drop us a rate and review. To inquire about being a guest, or if you have questions, comments, or just want to give us your Harry Potter story, email us at squibscorner@gmail.com. To watch Harry Potter merch unboxings, follow Jeremiah's YouTube, Accio Potter Guy. Lastly, you can leave us a voice memo and follow us on Instagram at Squibs Corner Podcast.